Well, it's a pleasure to come and speak to you tonight. Everybody can hear me, okay? I've been with Tiny House Community Development now for 10 years. A lot of the things they say I'm the founder. I'm not really the founder of Tiny House Community Development. I'm the founder of the nonprofit. We started 10 years ago during the summer at our day center downtown Greensboro as a concept of individuals experiencing homelessness who are looking for a way to have permanent housing, affordable housing, something that someone experiencing homelessness could actually afford. And from that bloomed the work when I came of building a mobile tiny house on wheels. But we ran into so many obstacles with different municipalities on being able to use that tiny house prototype for permanent housing. But we finally stumbled across the right way after a lot of headaches, roadblocks. I felt like beating my head against the block wall half the time and trying to figure out how to get around that block wall. But we worked with contractors, we worked with developers, and we learned about ways that we could create tiny house communities. And like Ms. Alice said, basically, we developed the first tiny house community here in Greensboro, with the city of Greensboro and help from a developer or an engineer. We developed one of North Carolina's first tiny houses community's own foundations to address homelessness. We then took that and went to High Point City, where we developed the first in North Carolina tiny house community ordinance. And believe it or not, a lot of places like Raleigh, who has a tiny house ordinance, actually adopted it based off of work we did in High Point and Greensboro. Charlotte did the exact same thing. I was literally in Charlotte the day that they closed the country down with COVID. And I was presenting to Charlotte to a huge audience. And they actually adopted a lot of the work we were doing in Greensboro and High Point. So we should be proud of Guilford County and Greensboro and High Point for the work that they've been able to do and allowed us to do. I need to see how to make this thing go forward. Will it go forward? Oh. Okay, so tiny house community development is just not about tiny houses. We do a lot of things like street outreach, where we go out into the parks and the libraries and other locations, encampments. We help with a point in time count once a year, where we go in at night and we help figure out who's there and what their needs are, get their information. That's part of street outreach, taking them things like hygiene kits, snack packs, bottles of water, sunscreen, different things that they need that are immediate, like life things that they have to have. I think he's got an order for somebody. We recently, just over about 18 months ago, almost 2 years now, we've had what's called the Hope Center. It's an old Griffin vacuum building on Gate City Boulevard. We used to serve meals to about 100 individuals during or just before COVID. For the 7 years we provided meals to people experiencing homelessness or poverty downtown Greensboro on Saturday mornings. And one of my visions and one of my wishes is that they could have a place they could always come and sit down, eat their meal, and not have to stand next to the parking deck wall to eat their food, their breakfast. Well, we were fortunate enough, the city decided that they wanted an ordinance that they should have named Scott Jones that prohibits the individuals from serving in parking decks and parking lots and on the sidewalk. And with that, they told me I was going to be charged with a misdemeanor if I kept on doing it. So First Presbyterian Church stepped up and loaned us their parking lot that they have. And during that time, I was frantically looking for a place. And it was divine in a lot of ways, because I was driving by this building and I seen the gentleman moving out, and I knew that company had been there forever, selling vacuums and repairing vacuums. And I stopped and I asked him, I said, "Are you leaving?" He said, "Yeah, we're moving out. I'm moving back to Virginia to my house." I said, "Okay, can you tell me who owns the building?" And the building owner has been really gracious, but not only was he gracious in letting us have a lease on this building, but we had a donor give us $30,000 to renovate the inside that we weren't even expecting. So tell me that's not at the same time. You have to take them where you get them, and we were blessed. But we renovated a small building, and today we started it out as wanting to provide services and resources to individuals. A lot of those things were like orange cards, getting their birth certificates where they were lost or destroyed, helping them get IDs, helping them get just the essentials, finding shelter for the night. And we knew that we already had a day center, so we did not want to be a day center. So we didn't install showers, we didn't install laundry. We wanted it to be purposeful. In other words, they were there for a reason, and that was to help them get these things that they need to get housing, to get jobs. And what we really realized is that there needed to be another space, another place that individuals could go to that won't go to our current day center. And it gives them another outlet and other individuals to connect to. So we have a lot of seniors, we have just a lot of individuals that don't go to other locations that are more comfortable coming to our Hope Center. Hope Center is Homeless Outreach Prevention and Empowerment. Now how does that work? Okay. They come in, they start talking with case management, Miss Laura and others. They start talking and working with them to find out where they've been, how they got there, and what it's going to take to get them out of their current situation. From there, we basically offer them things. And one of the newest things that's been almost 2 years now is education. Free, nationally accredited construction certification that allows them to take a 6 to 10 week course, obtain OSHA 10 core construction certification, which is the basic fundamentals of construction. And then we get them, as one of our partners is Goodwill Industries, we work with them and they help them get employed through Goodwill Industries. One of the things that they're able to do once they have this certification is they're able to have a card, a certificate that goes with that card. It's an accredited, just like GTCC, where we also teach at, and that allows them to get jobs making $15 to $18 an hour. That's huge considering other alternatives that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, like day labor, people pulling up and just hiring them and taking them off somewhere and dropping them off and not getting them back to where they were and giving them $20 so thank you for the day. Who wants to work in here for $20? I didn't see no hands. So that happens quite often. It really does. It happens a lot. And one of the things we've been trying to do is add to our education program. And I know I'm off. We do SNAP and EBT housing searches. We help them with housing searches. Meals. So at the Hope Center, we serve continental breakfast 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Every Monday through Friday, they can get all sorts of different continental breakfast stuff. Recently, we started serving dinner on Friday nights. So that's an area that we're looking for volunteers to help us with, is serving dinner on Friday nights at our Hope Center. We have about 50 people that come to that now. These are 50 individuals. I'd say 80 to 90% are currently homeless and on the streets. But the big one is every Saturday morning, we have a hot, full breakfast. And if you see me, you know we ain't going to skimp on meals. I love to cook, and I like for people to go away and not be hungry. So I would say if you ask someone, we have one of the best meals in Greensboro, and they're not shy about telling you. But we provide a full hot breakfast every Saturday morning, and we have church groups, we have civic groups, and others that come and volunteer, about 4 to 6 people per group. And it's really fun. Sometimes it's exciting, because sometimes there's scuffles that come from outside to inside, and I'm known as the big man. They know I don't play around. But we have a lot of fun with them. We try to interact with them. But the main part of providing a meal, what do you think the main part of providing a meal for someone is? What's the benefit from it?
Connection and comfort.
Exactly. It's building the rapport, making them comfortable enough, and that connection that they will actually talk to us and tell us the real story. Not what they might tell others, but tell us what they really need. And that's where we try to make that connection. Now, during that time, this slide I should have changed, but I didn't get to it. Generally, what we try to do is get them in a place where they can get stabilized so that they're not on the street. Because living on the street is difficult. What's the first thing when you go to apply for a job? What's the first thing you got to put on a resume? And that's hard to do when you're experiencing homelessness, because under the bridge on the corner of Gate City and whatever is not an address. And so it's hard and difficult. So we provide them an address, we help them build resumes, and we help them do other things that they need to get so they can get employment. Or we send them to our other partner, Goodwill Industries, to help them do the same thing. This is our construction trade certification program. Like I said, it is the same. How many of you know the carpentry classes in the high schools in Guilford County? We teach the same program. How many of you knew that program is actually an adult program? That certification that the students in high school get, freshmen, sophomores, and all that, that's an adult certification program. It's a national certification. But they walk away with that. During their class period, it's free. They get to sit there. They have to learn. They listen to lectures. Then they actually sit down and they actually have to take an online test. So there is no getting around it. You have to know the material. So we always tell people, contractors and stuff we try to get them hired with, they know their stuff. And they do when they leave. Not only that, but the classroom, we go out into the field. Now, we've been building tiny houses, and we have 2 communities right now, one down the street here on Causey Street in Greensboro, one in High Point that we're really proud of. These communities were built by volunteers. They were not built by contractors. They were 100% built by volunteers. Some subcontractors helped. But that's community building community in community. When we get to work with our churches and we get to build in parking lots at the church, take the house apart, take it out to the site and put it back together on the foundation. We've done a whole lot of ventures like that. We work with the high schools. We have 3 high schools and 1 private school here in Greensboro, Guilford County, and they're building tiny houses with us. We take donations, and it costs about $10,000, and they frame a house with the students every year, every semester. And just imagine at the number of high schools we have, if every high school had a carpentry class and every high school built a house a year, think about what the numbers would be like. And think about what if we could get churches in this county to step up and sponsor a house with a high school and let these high schools and these churches build a house. We wouldn't have the situation we have right now in Greensboro and Guilford County with homelessness. You can't house everybody because some are just not ready to be housed. Some don't want to be housed. But the opportunity with students is they get to go out in the field and they get to do work. We have a tagline that I'll share. We provide individuals the keys to success, not the keys to a house. Because you can provide the keys to the house all day long. And a lot of organizations just do that. They have funding, they provide an individual place to live, and they give them the keys. They say, good luck, call us if you need us. And they might check in periodically. But if they're not prepared to live indoors, it's difficult. And I could tell you the horror stories, as we have 16 houses, and the challenges that Ms. Laura and I have faced over the last 5 years or 6 years that we've been housing. It's incredible, the things that you learn and the things that you see, because some are just not ready to be placed in housing. And there is no reset button and there is no light switch. They have to learn how to function again in a house. So providing someone with the keys to an apartment is not always a good idea if they're not ready. Again, so switching gears. So what we were discussing a while ago, we have a workforce development training program that we have. We've got 3 people in it right now. No, we don't. We got 4 people in it right now. And these are either homeless or formerly homeless individuals. Right now, we're able to take them off the streets after a few weeks of working with us full time in this program, and then we're able to house them. And during that time, they start out $7.25 an hour, and they go up to $10.50 an hour. And during that time, once they move into a house, they pay us back 30% of what they're making. And that covers the house, the utilities, and helps us do other things that make the organization hopefully run much smoother and more efficient for them. But one of the programs in workforce development is our recycling program. How many of you collect styrofoam or plastic or cardboard? So we have 15 trailers now spread out between Elon, High Point, and Greensboro. So this is a program that came to us, nonprofits from around Guilford, Greensboro, that wanted to start recycling styrofoam. And they asked us, would you house the machine? And if you will you run it and take care of it and all this? I said, sure. Well, a couple years passed and nothing happened. And all of a sudden they called, we got a grant. We need to get places with the machine. So we jumped into the styrofoam industry, recycling business. And we did not expect to have 1 semi-trailer, 15 small recycling trailers, and 2 pickup trucks running around, and a box truck. It's kind of grown. We still want it to grow more, so please recycle. But we started with styrofoam being dropped in the trailers, and then we started collecting plastic and cardboard because it was already being put in the trailers with the foam. So we just said, okay, let's add this to it. It's an extra revenue source, and we were already getting it. So now we're getting an abundance of cardboard being put in the trailers and styrofoam. So we're really happy about our program. It will be 3 years old in November, and we have recycled over 165,000 pounds of styrofoam.
That's a lot.
Folks, that's like, I'm trying to make a comparison. It's huge. It's huge. Yes, it's huge. I wish I could have brought some here to show you. But 165,000 pounds, and we've got several thousand pounds of plastic bags now and cardboard. So we're really excited about this program. And the fact that it's able to get somebody off the street into a job. The newest person I've had in the program was in prison since 2009 to 2020. You think he's going to find a job anywhere? He's living on the streets. Hopefully he's going to be living in a tiny house. He worked out well today. Today was his first day. But it's a chance for someone who would not otherwise be able to have that opportunity. And we can do more, and we're going to. And the next process that's the Hope Center. Oops, that's breakfast lines. When we were downtown, it would be like 100 people. On Saturday now, it's about 70. We have Minerva bus that comes out from UNCG that does health checks on them. We have free haircuts every other week for everybody. We do bingo with them. So if you ever want to come up during the day and play bingo with them, they love bingo. We give them prizes, not cash. No cash, just prizes. We do DHHS comes out and helps them food stamps and Medicaid. I'm trying to think what else. There's some other things they come and do. But that's our first community. We took a half an acre vacant lot that the apartment complexes kept dumping furniture on. The city and the taxpayers were paying the city to go get it up. They were having to mow a little spot about the size of this room on that property. We were able to get the first house from Weaver Academy here in Greensboro, who the students built that house and donated it to us. That was the first one. And then between church groups and civic groups, we were able to build 5 more houses on that property for a total of 6 tiny houses on just under half acre. So it can be done. There are lots all around the Guilford County that could be utilized for the same thing. I would say that in our program, in our supportive housing program, 80% are seniors, classified seniors 55 and up. 80%, 60 and up, sorry. Anyway, we have, we're learning curve. So our houses are built so that they're sort of ADA compliant. We do have one completely ADA compliant house that a veteran is living in now. We're currently building 2 more communities on Freeman Mill Road, and then we're building one over here in High Point that's for veterans only. It'll be a veteran-only community, and I'm super excited to get that one built and see it done. When it's finished, it'll have a 900 square foot veteran community office that we're renovating now. It's an older house. It will have 4 one-bedroom tiny houses for individuals and 2 two-bedroom houses. Not tiny, but 2 two-bedroom houses, small, for a veteran family. Someone that we hope to connect, I'm hoping they would connect to get a house, do a donation through another organization, and they would just need this temporarily for however long. The other thing that will be, once it's completed, is 2 3-bedroom houses that will have individuals who need more care. So they may be moving from the 1-bedroom up there till they can go to a retirement center or something like that. Or it may be someone in the VA that contacts us and says, we got somebody, they're coming out of the hospital, can you take them on? Yes, we would have that care there at that facility. But we're looking at it more like a house instead of like a dormitory type situation, more like a home with things that are outside, places they can do and go and see. So that's the kind of the atmosphere we're trying to build. But we're Tiny House Community Development, and we appreciate you allowing us to come out tonight and speak. Any questions?